Good afternoon, dear ladies and gentlemen. My name is Yuri Grigoran. I'm an architect, head of the Megadon Project Bureau. It is a pleasure to welcome you and Aqua e Vita, the role of the river in the modern city. Well, 10 years ago, or 15 years ago, a lot of cities around the world discovered that they have unused city elements, that is, rivers. During the Industrial Revolution times, rivers were not seen as attractive places because that was a source for transportation and for waste disposal. And today, for instance, in Moscow, we see the river as just a green area, green zone that you cannot use otherwise. In other cities, like LA in the United States, cities in Canada, in South America, there are cities, large cities and smaller cities, that develop the riversides. And the river has amazing potential. It goes through the whole city normally. And when we started to think about how we can redevelop Moscow River, we tried to make it accessible, interesting, and useful. And we are here today to discuss the potential of a river, to learn more from our foreign colleagues about projects abroad in the world, what are the approaches they use. And before I start the discussion, let me introduce the experts. Alexei Shapachnikov, Speaker of the Moscow Parliament. Tu Tsiui, Deputy Head of the Institute of the Urbanization Problem Research from Shanghai. Ning Su, Professor of the Shanghai Academy for Social Sciences. Circe Monteiro, Coordinator in City UFP from Brazil. Swami Jyotirmay, representative of Art of Living Foundation, and Konstantin Golubov, head of the Dream Island project. Well, let me ask all the speakers to focus on the key things in your presentations, because we have really little time for every presentation, and I would really like to leave some time for the Q&A. So there is no way to delay our session, so please, if you can stick to 5 minutes. Now let me give the floor and let me first give the floor to Mr. Shapachnikov. I am a Muscovite, and apart from the Moscow River, we have the Yauza River, which is also quite interesting. We discussed the Moscow River a year ago, quite in detail, and now we started another project of the Yauza project. Well, Muscovites actually proposed this idea of redeveloping both rivers, but we started from a very simple thing about how to set up a public water WC facility in a park. That appeared to be an issue. Now, going into the redevelopment project, it was difficult to create a single project for the Yauza River because it was separated into several sectors. And working together with the citizens, we managed to create one single cultural space, joining together all the separate parts of the riversides. In many places, it is very difficult to cross the river because there are no bridges. To be brief, I'll present my project via a visual presentation. Now, I would like for a little technical assistance. Yauza Park project. Yauza is the single most important river in Moscow, apart from the Moscow River. One of the main features of the Yauza Basin is that there are a lot of parks on the riverside. What we try to do is to create one single urban space around this river. Yauza comes from the Russian word uza, which means link. So the very name of the river encourages us to join together, to bring together all the different parts of the river and the riverside. There are several sites of interest along the river, and our idea is to create one single park, one single green area around this river. The riverside includes a park, which we call Park of the Future. It requires renovation. We plan to create platforms for children, for quiet and relaxing time spending, and there is a transport hub, which is near the river. It helps to bring people to the park. It helps to bring park closer to people for those who want to walk around the park or spend their time next to the river. The museum cluster would be located near the park that was mentioned previously. Apart from the existing attraction points, new points will be created. We plan to clean up the river, set up new paths and walkways with illumination, and we'll create a tourist route telling more about the sightseeings. Sports cluster would be in the very center of this area. It has all the necessary venues. Apart from that, it is the key complex that helps foster the sports activity. All the main recreation areas would be located around this cluster. The Sviblovo Stadium would be the venue for youth tournaments. This complex would be located between two streets, and it includes several sites, several stadia, integrating harmoniously several runways, several volleyball and mini football spaces, as well as a renovated, refurbished riverside. So in the end, we're going to create multifunctional recreational and sports park It is going to become a green area that allows to walk from two big roads without crossing any motorways. Thank you very much. I would like to say that this is not just an idea. It is a project that is being implemented starting this year. We started the construction already, but it would not be possible without today's Moscow government. We have Kirill Tesla from the Vector Planning Institute. He's a student still, but he's already involved pretty much in the city development projects. Then Larisa Kardavtseva from a group of citizens living next to this area. Without their activism, it would not be possible to put in place this project. You saw on the presentation that without, thanks to the metro station and roads that get to this park, it is quite possible to access the park. Well, Yauza is a river that goes through the Moscow River region as well, so it is very important to pay attention at the cleanliness of the river. I would really like you to give feedback on our project, to criticize our project if needed. Thank you very much. Now let me give the floor to Tu Tsiui. This is the clicker.
Okay, thank you. This presentation will be me and my colleague, Professor Su. We decide since we are two persons to make one presentation, so we will double the time. I'm just kidding. We will stick on. I start to count my 5 minutes. Okay, so basically we are from Shanghai, Shanghai Academy of Social Sciences. For the case of Shanghai, we have the river, which is called the Huangpu River, which is almost everything for us. Huangpu River, during the so-called pre-industry Shanghai, is a mother river of Shanghai for Shanghainese. So we fishing over there, we take waters over there. And for Shanghai, when we enter into so-called industrial Shanghai, then Huangpu River is the father river of Shanghai, provide energy, coal for electricity, water heating, those kind of things. But now when Shanghai turned into kind of a post-industrial city, what we want is more than parents. Actually, what we want is kind of brothers or sisters to play with. So in this sense, we really need to transform the river into another kind of mantle for Shanghainese, for creative Shanghainese or innovative Shanghainese. But the reality is, even during the 1910, this period, Shanghai is still, the Huangpu River is still a river for production. So you will see there, we have more than 100 wharves over there. Then we have to ask a question, how can we transform the river as kind of a production river into kind of river for public space, for living, for people to contact with. So this is our presentation. And here you will see the river. Actually, the river across the whole territory of Shanghai municipality. And I think I stop here and pass this to Professor Su. Yeah.
It works. It's all right. It's a great honor to be here to show some experience of the Shanghai's Expo's renewal experience. Especially, I think Shanghai Expo 2010 is renewal is one of the most biggest issues for the waterfront, Shanghai waterfront renewal, as Professor Tu have said, how to transform the father city to the sister city, and the Shanghai Expo 2010, I think, is maybe call it is a big event leading mega event leading waterfront renewal, and the strategy of the Expo is to try to use the Expo as a catalyst to regenerate Shanghai's main waterfront, as the Huangpu River, and enhance its especially for its economic and for the culture sector, because before 21st century, this river, I mean, the function is mainly focused on the industry. Now, the Expo 20 after 2010, we try to make the function to transform to more culture and economic one. And when you look at the map of the city, we will see that area with the circle is Expo area. That we will see that this part is key part for the whole I would say the whole river's integration, because it's in the central part. This is what Expo site we try to build it, and before the renewal, you will see the Expo area. It is waterfront area, but it's more like industrial region, like that. We will see the shipyard and some welfare housing, something like that. And also we have a power plant. And the goal of the Expo renewal is first of all, there's a first stage renewal is to relocate the polluted factories out, and also attract more people to the waterfront with the new functions. And the third one is to make the whole transformation. And the planning, we have setting planning in the first several years in the 21st century, and after the constructions, you will see the buildings and five key actions have been, also the task has been done. The first one is the resident relocation. We have relocate 18,000 families, and also we have done quite a lot of job of the conservation of the historical heritage and also infrastructure buildings. And also the first stage Expo renewal have done a lot in the environmental improvements. We have making about 20 kilometers waterfront public space, and also the waterfront's housing conditions has been improved a lot. But after the there's some pictures about how this kind of residence area have been modified to this kind of new styles, and also we call it environmental preference community. And also we have transformed the power plant to a new pavilion. Now this pavilion had been transferred to a museum. And also we have done quite a lot of conservation of the industrial construction. But after the, that show we have done some quite a lot in the environmental protections for transform the industrial water like a port to gardens like this. But after 2010s, we have a new master plan to completely change this area to a new site for the creativity industries, and also we hope to attract some international organizations and transform this area for the exhibition space, industrial heritage, and so on. And we have divided the post-Expo urban area to 5 zones and 1 band. The 5 zones is for international conference and exhibition, and to international community zone, and also we have done some preservation for the future's development, and also have cultural zone and the UBPS, it means urban best practice zone. And also we have laying some leisure bands for the public activities. That's our functions, whole functions and the whole spacing definitions for the post-expo site. That's planning. And now some of SOE, it means state-owned companies headquarters has gathering here. We're building a new like CBD and this kind of area on that. And the influence is, first of all, is that we have transformed quite a lot of area functions from the industrial area to service and commercial areas, and also we have extending the whole Huangpu River's waterfront area, and also we integrate the district and river. But it's still something need to improve. The first of all is how to make the integrated of the whole guidance, I mean the master guidance, and this second one is how to make the development more quality, yeah, sure. And the third one is how to make the different district to making a joint effort. That's okay. That's all. We also hope to have your idea on the waterfront renewal. Thank you very much.
Спасибо большое. Это впечатляющий опыт.
This is an impressive experience. And of course, we have something to learn from you. It's very difficult to manage such expensive and extensive projects. Now I would like to give the floor to Sir Simon Taylor. We are interested in knowing the experience of Brazil. What is going on in Brazil?
Well, it's a pleasure to be here, to be presenting Recife for you. It's a completely different experience. And this project started when a young mayor was elected, and during his campaign he promised to build a park alongside the main river of the city, the Capibaribe River. And I belong to a university research group called City, Innovation for Cities, and we went to the mayor and said that this could be much more than a linear park. This could be something more innovative for the city. And we proposed to work together for this project. And whoop. So here is Recife. We are at the northeast of Brazil. And being at the university also, we had a lot of knowledge about projects being done all over the world. And we were sure that our problem was not a technological one, but our main challenge is how to make this project happen. And we believe we have to start reckon the city's singularities, its own strength. So this is the DNA or the singularity of our cities. We are in the northeast, we are in a tropical country, we were a water-centered city, we are in an estuary, we were founded by the Dutch. This is why we are under the water. And we have a very rich urban and architectural heritage from the Dutch and the Portuguese. We have a radial city with one center that is the capital of metropolitan region. This is why we also have a lot of mobility problems. We have poverty and inequality. And most of all, we have a very creative, multicultural, lively inhabitants with very strong music, dance, and carnival tradition in the city. And so we depart for that to understand what we could do in this project. The river was the main drive of city transformation in the beginnings, and we could see this kind of houses also in the city center. But nowadays what we see is like that. In the new century, the last century, in a car-centric society, the builders turned their back for the river, and the river became invisible, forgotten from, and polluted and dirty, forgotten from the population and also from the local planning agency. And here is the river, and it looks like your river, you see. I was noticed. And we understood it as a complex system because it connects Atlantic forest on the west, the sea, the mangrove here, and it also divides rich population in the right margin on the top and the poor population in the lower, the left margin. So we have to have a very global understanding of the project. And this is, and we have to create a city future vision also, to engage the people in this idea of the possibility to transform the city through the river into nature. And it's a project that is planned for 30 kilometers of the river. It's a long-term project. And we are promising 45 kilometers of bike lanes and things like that. But we have this idea that we really think of something like a modular project that is like a Lego-like. We have a general plan, but we devise projects to places, to a single contest. So this is the Baobab, is the first place where we work, when we invite people just to go there and to discover the place and to discuss with us what we could do in a place like that. And we also believe that sustainability and long-term projects is only possible with people engagement. So this is why our project in all the means always try to engage the population in different ways. So we embrace what we call the emergent urbanism, that is based on research solutions. We made what we call activation. Activation is really to make things happen in all the levels. So we have this concept of design sensitive to nature, but I could say that design sensitive to waters, because our main idea is, first of all, to reconnect the city with the nature and to honor the water, honor all the places of the water, in the river, in the streams, in the drainage. All projects look to these solutions very carefully. And to design city sensitive to experiences, we understand infrastructure as providing a better quality of life in the city. So we have projects with this aim also to reconnect the city with a system of active mobility, shortening distance, and offering opportunities, economic and social opportunities for the city. And also a design sensitive to people. That is how we understand that city that embraces nature, it's also a city that is healthy and secure and promotes space of encounter and inclusion, and it is a happy city. And we have happy citizens as well. And our challenge here is to make people trust in the project and trust in the government and in the academy. And the academy was a very important institution to make people believe in that new possibility.
Excuse me, Circe, we have only 1 minute left.
Okay. The design guidelines were very simple, so everyone could understand. We have to cross, to bridge, to follow the river, and to activate. And this activation is negotiation with all levels, with United Nations, federal level, children at the city, with the children of the river, local traders. So negotiation really means to talk and to discuss with everybody. And the activation was the project was the beginning of the process. We then went to the places, we prototype, we invite people to use, we make events, we evaluate, and then we design and implement the project with the help of everybody. And the mobilization is the last process, when we have to have all these things in the media, WhatsApp, Facebook, blogs. We have to create this incredible network of relationships in order to make things happen. And this is what we are. We have now 3 kilometers of project being finished in 2 years. And
Seriously,
I
sorry,
thank
it's,
you very much.
Thank you very much. It's a nice project. Спасибо большое, Серсия.
Thank you very much. Seriously, engagement, involvement, social involvement is very important. In particular, I can see that Brazil has an extensive experience. I would like to give a floor to Swami Jyotirmay, and we would like to give him a floor and to know his opinion about cleaning of waters.
Thank you. Yeah, I won't take more than 4 minutes. Is it fine? 4 minutes? Yeah. They are playing from the. Sorry. Yeah.
बहुत परेशानी है पानी की। दिन पूरा हमारा पानी में जाता है, यहाँ से वहाँ से लाने का। ये बोर को नहीं मिला, दूसरे बोर को जाने का, दूसरे बोर को नहीं मिला, दूसरे बोर को जाने का।
5-6 बरस हमारे को पास बरसात नहीं थी। बरसात नहीं होने के वास्ते हमारे लोग उस खेती करने वाले गांव छोड़ को जाने लगे थे। अब क्या होगा, वो रविशंकर गुरुजी है ना, उन्हें हमारे को ये किटी बना के दिए। उसके वास्ते हमारे यहाँ 10 दिन पहले पाणी बरसात हुई, वो पाणी जगह पे राहिला।
इथे पहिले 2-3 वर्षापूर्वी पाऊस काळ कमी असल्यामुळे इथे पाणी नव्हतं। आता पाणी भरपूर साठा झाला आहे, तरी शेतकऱ्याला याचा फायदा होणार आहे।
Belongs to Art of Living. Its headquarters in Bangalore. Founder is His Holiness Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, which the movie you watched. We have been rejuvenating and reviving more than 27 rivers in India. Because, you know, in India, river not just fulfilling our material thirst. Beyond that, there is a holistic way of approach, because our body itself 70 to 80% is water content. If there is no water, there is no life. So many rivers in India, particularly in Maharashtra and Karnataka, it's Silicon Valley, you can say Indian Silicon Valley called Bangalore. It's an urban area. There was a river called Kumudavadi. It was died for many decades. There was no water at all in that. And with the help of Art of Living volunteers, effort of more than 4 or 5 years of effort, now we revived more than 60 to 70% of that river, again started flowing water in it. So without all the civilization which Sirsi mentioned, honoring the water means honoring the life. Honoring the life means then only the civilization comes. If there is a prosperity in the society, it depends upon the agriculture. If the farmers are urged to commit suicide, that's happened in many times in India, still happening unfortunately. That's why we are closely working with the World Health Organization and UNESCO, and of course with the European Parliament. Sri Ravi Shankar ji, he took this initiative. So we treat the rivers, especially in India, many rivers with the enzymes. It's a newly started. So that started reviving many rivers. And our 70% of our body is water element. At the same time, it's connected to our mind. The society, what we are talking about, the urbanization, is totally depends upon the stress level of the people. If the society is peaceful, there is a life for the next generation. Each one of us has a responsibility to give this planet to the next generation in a good shape. If you are more interested, you can go through our website. It's called Art of Living. We have thousands of volunteers in all over Russia. So if you have some questions after that, I can address. Thank you for your...
Спасибо большое.
Thank you very much. This is really a good example of how we can clean Yaus River or Moscow River, which we have. Now I would like to give the floor to Konstantin Golubev, the head of the project The Island of Dream. Please, be brief, because we are running out of time. Good afternoon. I will speak about our project of Nagatinskaya River. We have this also on the embankment. The function of the river since our foundation, the foundation of the city, is also cultural, and we need to consider this. The embankment of urban embankments is also very important, the same as reconstruction of industrial zones. It's all all capitals are working in this direction, have been working for a long time, and Moscow also started to work at this in 2014. And we started to develop the embankments. This project will last till 2030, and then there will be a lot of kilometers of comfortable environment. All embankment places will be done in accordance with the single projects. There will be, but still there will be separate projects. 13 sectors, the square more than 10,000 square meters. There will be 3 stages. This region of Nagatinsky River, this is the second stage of the whole project. The biggest project of Moscow River reconstruction includes construction of Simonsky embankment. This is the new 6-lane trunk line. It will connect the island of Nagatinskaya, and it will continue the transport trunk line, which will provide for industrial zone of ZIL. When we develop architectural concept, we are based on the general trend. The main idea is to make the project of the embankment available for people. Architects offered to improve the waterland. We should have here lanes for bicycles and also walking areas. And then the city will get very comfortable space. Also, a good example is the embankment of Singapore. This is a good balance of interests of investors and the city. The owner of the section planned to build the embankment with hotels like Las Vegas. But in the process, they decided to correct it, and now we know that the Marina Bay in Singapore is the most appealing part of the city. It's a walking place and also exhibition in open air. And in our project, when we improved the water place, we wanted also to consider the needs of people. Speaking about the internal infrastructure of Dream Island, we want also to build a yachting school for kids, to transform the embankment, and it should be within the general concept of Moscow development. We would like also to link it to the landscape park. Then we'll create the city space with with long distance. There will be walking distance, bicycle lanes. There will be shopping zone with cafes. At the territory also will have a concert hall for 1,000 people. We'll have their concerts, lectures, maybe also some corporate events. Within the framework of this project, we'll build also a hotel with 410 rooms.
This project is of social importance and is part of the master plan of the city. In our opinion, this theme park and the redevelopment of the riverside would increase the tourist flow by 16% and would increase the tourist share of the gross regional product by 17 billion rubles and would involve this territory in the city life. Thank you very much. It's amazing, but within this session we saw that rivers include different cultural contexts, like in South America. In South America, social aspects and public dialogue are very important when developing urban projects, and for us it's very important to somehow import these practices. Indian project of cleaning up the rivers, it is a very important humanitarian project because it improves people's life, and of course it is also important to know or to think about the rivers in the way that they are all connected, because they're all part of the global water basin. And of course we wish Russian rivers to be also part of citizens' life and cultural life, not only destined for industrial use. I would like to thank all the participants. It has been amazingly interesting. Thank you very much.